Is Bitcoin hitting 180,000? Well, here today is the latest updates in news in the crypto space, and let's take a look at the current market cap right now, and I'll share with you some of the interesting articles and updates in the crypto space that could be very bullish for the future. But do keep in mind before this video continues that everything in this is not financial advice. This is strictly my own opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Make sure to do your own research before you make any sort of investments because again, crypto is super risky and you could go literally to zero. But anyways, let's go in and take a look. Right now we have Bitcoin at sub 90K. It did break 90 just a few hours before posting this, but let's see the current prices right now. Slightly red for the 1 hour and the 24-hour marks, but the overall week we are doing quite well. In the green, Bitcoin up almost 18%, which is crazy for a price of basically 90,000 to be up literally almost 20%. It's literally an insane amount of money. And we can see here the volume being traded billions. We got billions going on. Solana down here 213. Dogecoin still maintaining. Obviously, Dogecoin did surpass 40 plus. It's been actually the last few days bouncing up and down between the 40 plus mark, and it seems to be building support around the 36 cent, and it doesn't seem like it's moving too much. And we got Ripple down here 87. Actually, whoa, this is actually pumping up. That's crazy. Ripple is slowly catching up, almost back to $1, which you can see from years ago. We can go here and actually take a look at it really quickly, and let's just see, because that's something that is very major that a lot of people were talking about many years ago, early days when Ripple went absolutely crazy, and then it just basically now we can see going back to $1. There's big talk on Ripple, but we'll focus on that in another video. And for now, you can see some of the other coins. Now, let's see first off, the first part of the video, which I mentioned, was Bitcoin 180K. So this is VanEck's Matthew Siegel sets Bitcoin target at 180,000. So this guy named Matthew, he is the head of digital assets research at VanEck, and he has his price trajectory at 180K. Now, this isn't something at least anytime soon, but based off of this post, it seems like they could predict this is the next targets that Bitcoin could potentially hit. And pretty much it gives some insights, new presidents, and essentially some of the crypto policies, which I will actually cover some in the other posts. But pretty much they think that this could potentially keep going. And if it were to hit this mark, it states at 1,000% based off the recent cycle. But I mean, come on now. Most of you watching, you either already been in, or if you're just starting, getting in today, or even been in just a few months ago, if it hits to 180K, that's at most 2 to 3x, maybe 4 max. If you add 10, I mean, that means you essentially got into Bitcoin, at least right now. That would be at least a 10x from 180, 18. So let's just round it basically 18,000, which many of us haven't seen that for quite a long time. Now, here's some background too on VanEck, just so that you know this is more of a at least the person behind this is quite I'd say reputable in their space. But you can see here assets under management, pretty much 90 bill, which is almost the same number, 90 Bitcoin. Obviously not billion, but thousands. And then we can type in Matthew Siegel. Let me make sure I spell his name right. And you can see here some more details on that. Now, let's go ahead and see some other news. So here is a big thing. And this is something that you might not even have known if you weren't following it. But basically, there are some talks that China could reassess their crypto bans because obviously new president of the USA, Mr. Trump himself, has been, or at least looking to push crypto heavily, as the USA wants to be the leader in that space, and China does not want to be behind something like this. And if you were to just simply Google this, if you did not know, essentially, according to these posts here and the current articles, it essentially says that China that the cryptocurrencies aren't to be used any way that would replace fiat. So that's essentially the whole purpose of crypto, if you were to look at it from the blockchain perspective, and pretty much, and from the entire decentralization portion, where you essentially don't need to rely on anybody. Everything on the blockchain is tracked, and you know exactly where it came from, who sent it, at least from the address point of view, and that you can't essentially, what's the word? You can't change it in that sense. Like in banking, if something is an error, it's because they can either fix it themselves or recreate it. But crypto, if you send it to the wrong address, then well, you're kind of screwed, assuming that that person never sends it back. Versus banking, you can reverse it and stuff. So that is something I could see why China wouldn't like that, especially because there's also the bad side. If someone hacks your wallet, they get your address and your private keys or your accounts to wherever you store crypto, they could take it, and your chances of getting it back are pretty much zero. And at least for the average person. Right now, the ones I've seen, there's some stories where, hundreds of millions of dollars they get to recover some stuff. But the whole purpose of it, I can see why China did not like that part. And we can see here that if they, or at least they reconsider it, then guess what that's going to mean for cryptocurrency? It's going to be crazy. Now, let's go back to this, because this is actually something really big. Now, here it did state in Hong Kong, at least based off this article, that there's different rules in that part of the area, and that could be the thing is mainland China and outside of the other areas could be massive, assuming that they stayed here. Some people are still able to trade cryptocurrency in China, and you can do it through these exchanges. However, it seems like in terms of the actual purposes that crypto is supposed to be used for, to replace essentially dollar, it's according to those articles that China does not like that. Now, here let's go a little bit more details. We can see that if they were to accept something similar, because I believe the U.S. was working on some sort of digital currency, and then I saw some posts about Trump basically trying to get away from that. But again, these are all new and updates. These things can change literally day by day. But basically, this article does state that they had a strict ban on ICOs, trading, mining, and that's a lot. Back in the early years, this was crazy. There are ICOs every second going crazy. And I get it. That makes sense, because a lot of people made scam coins and a lot of scam companies, and that pretty much it wasn't good, especially for people who had no idea what they were doing. They just throwing money thinking it's gonna 1 million X and lose everything. So this is interesting. Now, we'll cover this more later, because I think if it does go into basically all major countries are shifting over, that's going to be absolutely insane. Okay, so first of all, take a look at this. SC crypto cases will be dismissed or settled under Trump. So if you aren't familiar, there's a couple cases in crypto where there's a lot of rules, and there's just some things that they can't get past, and I can't remember all of them, obviously, but basically there's a lot that pretty much prevents certain cryptocurrencies from taking off and basically taking over, just because of certain regulations and things they have to deal with. But here, according to this, basically what they're stating is that all these legal issues and battles will potentially fade away with our new presidents, according to Consensus CEO Joe Lubin. So this, again, these are the updates, and what this means is the current market does have some of this information already currently in, but it doesn't account for if this were to go full on crypto space, everything switches over to digital currency, and then the fiat, and obviously other countries have even adopted it due to their weak currencies as well. Guess what that means for the prices of these coins? They're going to go crazy again, assuming that this is the shift. Again, I could be 100% wrong. Keep that in mind. This is not advice. This is just simply some of my thoughts. But here's what's one fun fact article today is one of the hackers that stole billions apparently of Bitcoin. He only was sentenced to 5 years according to this article, which I think is absolutely insane. Like I've heard stories where people do such the most simple crime years back at least, and they were in prison for significantly longer than 5 years. And this man, according to this post, took millions, which apparently rose up to billions of value, and even apparently today they're saying this is double than the current back in the time, which it doesn't matter double or triple. It's literally, they say here, billions worth of cryptocurrency value, and this guy only got 5 years. That's outrageous. But according to him and his method, apparently he used some technology that he managed to get into Bitfinex, and basically did some damage to them, which resulted in him going to prison. But what that really shows is, like, imagine the whales, or who owns the actual exchanges, who own a significant amount or store at least on their exchange. What happens if some mega company or some super group hacks into them? What would that mean? That means they would own all the crypto of whatever they took, which isn't really good, I would say, in the sense of the whole decentralization parts. So that is something to keep in mind. But I think over long term, cryptocurrency definitely is starting to showcase its use and the future of the new era. So that is some of the updates today. Take a look at the current prices right now, because these can change any seconds. And do subscribe to see more updates in the space. I'll be posting as many times as I can whenever something new comes up. So if you want to see that, definitely stay tuned.